Station 1. In the U.S., the 7 Years' War is often called the French and Indian War. It had profound effects on the Native Americans, particularly those in the Ohio River and the Mississippi River regions. Many of these tribes actively participated in the war and chose sides. In New York, the Iroquois Confederacy was able to make treaties with both the French and the English and remained mostly independent from Europeans. William Johnson was named Superintendent of Indian Affairs in 1755. In this role, he acted as an ambassador with Native Americans as colonies in the colonies to encourage them to support the British and fight the French. He gained a lot of experience for this position while he was a merchant, and his business gave Johnson the opportunity to understand the Indians. It was his special relationship with the Six Nations, and specifically the Mohawks of the Iroquois Confederation, that led him into political and military arenas, and was to influence his subsequent ideas of how the colonies should manage the whole question of trade and expansion. A superintendent of Indian Affairs, he had full powers to trade with the Iroquois Confederacy in the British interest. With the growing tension between the French and the British, the role of the Indian tribes was therefore a vital one in any conflict between the two antagonists. The long-standing feud between them meant that the support of the Indians was a key element in a victory. In 1701, the Five Nations, later six, that is the Iroquois Confederation, Mohawks, Oneidas, Onondagas, Cayugas, and Senecas, had made peace with the French at Montreal and remained neutral. In subsequent decades, attempts by the British to win over the Indians had been countered by the French. In 1720, the French came across Lake Ontario and built a trading post at Niagara. To counter this threat, the British built a post at Oswego in 1727. Any war between the two, therefore, would see the Indians acting as a pivot, and so be diligently courted to act for either side in any future conflict. When Johnson was chosen to enlist the help of the Five Nations, he had already been welcomed by them as someone who would treat them in an honest and straightforward manner. The qualities of his loyalty, honesty, and respect for friends and families were appreciated by the Native Americans. They found them in Johnson, so much so that they named him Doer of Great Things of Chief Big Business, and in 1760 bestowed the title of Administrative Chief on him.